Facebook Live, what's going on? There we go, Facebook Live. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody day is going well. Let's see. Hope everybody day is going super fantastic. I'm excited about on tonight. Um, the discussion that we're going to have on tonight. I believe that it's going to be very, very impactful. Um, and I'm just excited. My special guest just arrived, so we're going to bring you guys. Come on in. I need you to type in below what city, what state you guys are viewing from. Listen, I want you to share this video with everybody that you're connected with. There we go, Pastor Moore. How you doing? Hey, so listen, this is what I want you to do. I want you to share this video with everybody that you're connected with. As my special guest, they get all situated. I had to bring them on in because last week we had an issue with bringing the guests in. But listen, I want you to share this video with everybody you're connected with. I believe that on tonight it's going to be such a very, very impactful. There she go, First Lady.
Hey there.
Angela Moore. How you doing?
Great.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
Oh,
listen, as you guys come on in, I need you to type in below what city, what state you guys are viewing from. Also, as you come in, I need you to share this video. The reason I want you to share this video is because you are connected to some people that we're not connected with. And with that connection together, we can, in fact, empower the world to never give up. There we go. And as you come on in, watch this. Give me your emojis. It costs you nothing, but it means everything to us. Tamika Myers, good to see you. Arlisha Green, thank you so much for joining in live. How's everybody doing today? Hope your worship experience today was absolutely phenomenal. Latoya Moss coming in. Good to see you. Thank you so much for joining in. BJ Lane, good to see you. Listen, I need y'all guys to give me your emojis. It costs you nothing, and it means everything to us. Listen, I don't like to assume that people know who we are. As you come on in, I see you guys coming on in. Give me your thumbs up. Give me your likes. I need you to type in what city, what state. Kristen Taylor, good to see you. I need you to type in what city, what state you're viewing from. We want to welcome each and every one of you guys tuning in live, and also share this video. I don't like to assume that people know who we are. I'm Mr. Aosinspires. If you're on Facebook, I'm AOS.Inspires, YouTube, Snapchat, and Twitter. We're AOS.Inspires. I promise you, if you holler back at me, we will holler back at you. So if you guys can turn your camera back because it's kind of sideways. If you could, Pastor, if you can turn your camera, there you go. There we go. I got some people coming in. Listen, I need you guys to share this video right now. We are about to get started. Thank you so much, Pastor Moore, for sharing the video. Latifia Harris, Tamika Myers, thank you so much for sharing this video. Virginia Beach is in the building. Brookhaven, Georgia is in the building showing love. ATL has stopped by to show some love on tonight. Listen, I'm super excited about the topic on tonight. Norcross, Georgia, Sister Bridget Bellamy, good to see you. Thank you so much for joining in. We have none other than Pastor Carl D. Moore, Atlanta,
What's
Georgia,
up?
and leading lady Angela Moore. How you doing tonight?
Great.
How's everything? How you doing? How was your day today?
Good and busy.
It was good, man. We had the preaching moment. Church was excellent. Our youth did just a great job in our Sunbeams as usual. Man,
Wow.
You should go back and check out the Faith Video Demand. It was awesome.
Good service. Good service.
Definitely listen. We have a lot of followers that's watching us now that don't know. Can you tell them how can they watch your today's service today?
They could go faithvideoondemand.com, and you can go to the link where you have Clarkson First Baptist Church, and there's an archive, and they can go back for the last 28 days and watch any of our sermons, and they sort of been building up on each other because we're dealing with faith, trusting in God.
Okay.
And man, we just need people in this dispensation to be at a place where God is center and foremost, and realize that when you can't trust people, you can trust God.
That's right.
That's good. That's good.
When
That's good.
they go on Faith Video on Demand and put in Clarkston First Baptist Church, look for Pastor's picture, and then click on that. You can go directly into the archives for sermons.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. And as you guys heard, you can go to Faith Video Demand right now and see all of their services each and every day. Good to see you, Brother William Burnett. Somebody just asked me when I'm coming back on Thursdays. You're talking about Thursday mornings. I might do a sneak peek next Thursday. I've been taking a break with that different perspective has been taking all of my time. Tamika Myers, thank you so much, Tamika Myers, for posting that. She just posted comment, faithvideoondemand.com, Clarkston First Baptist Church, Reverend Carl D. Moore. Listen,
Yay,
we have our super, very special guest in the building, Pastor Carl D. Moore and First Lady, leading lady, Reverend Angela Moore. Listen, as you guys come on in, welcome them in to a different perspective. So we're about to get started. First, tell us about yourself, Pastor Moore and Reverend Angela Moore. Tell us about yourself.
Okay, you go first.
No, you go first. You the first lady. First lady means first.
Well, good evening, everyone. I am Angela Moore, First Lady Minister, Reverend Angela Moore. Yeah, long title there, but I wear all those hats.
Yes.
I'm the wife of Pastor Carl Moore. We've been married for 37 years. We are originally from Mississippi, the great state of Mississippi. I was born in a little town called Macon, Mississippi. Pastor and I met at college, Tougaloo College, the great Tougaloo College in Tougaloo, Mississippi, right outside of Jackson, Mississippi. I think that's enough for starters. We have two children, and we love God.
Amen. And ditto all that. I'm Carl Mo Simply. I'm a PK, Reverend Scott. So I've been in the church all my life, born in the church, raised in the church. And so that's all it is about me. Carl Moore from Louisville, Mississippi. Been here in Atlanta for 30 years now. Been pastoring for almost 28. And so God has been good.
So, I mean, 28 years in the making. I just want to snag this question in there. Have you seen some ups and downs as it pertains to ministry and also preaching?
Oh, yes. Definitely. Oh, yes. You know, Pastor, for that long, we not see some ups, some downs, some disappointments, some hurts. But I'm like the songwriter. All of our good days outweigh our bad days.
I love it.
So that's really why we get up each morning running to do ministry, man, because it's the love of our life. Matter of fact, it sort of defines our lives.
It does define our lives.
Because that's what we are about. That's what we do.
Yes.
I wish I could say we just do it on the weekend, but we do it 7 days.
24/7. Even without sleep.
It doesn't stop.
We not closed off, so people have access. It's just like you. You've been going now for 3 years, and you probably call me, at least 2 times a week.
At least.
But
now I believe that this is a very interesting topic that most people battle with behind scenes. And as I have stated in my book, Winning After Major Loss, most people don't know how to handle adversity because they've never seen somebody that they look up to handle adversity. So most times, and the reason for this particular topic is because I want to share with a perspective of you guys being in ministry, and the extensive of ministry that you guys have. You have experienced different types of hurt. You have experienced other people that has experienced hurt as well, and they have came to get counseling with you guys. So today's topic is, how do I deal with hurt from people I've helped? But also, while I'm dealing with the hurt that people that I've helped that has hurt me, how do I build effective relationships after I've been hurt by these people? So I want to start off with this question real fast. First Lady, tell us, when did you fall in love with ministry?
Wow, that's an excellent question, and I've always been involved in ministry to some aspect. I was, as Pastor Moore was, I was born and raised in a faith-based church in my family. My father was a deacon. Actually, my dad was chairman of the deacon board for a while. My mother has always been involved in church. My grandparents, love church, love the Lord. So church has always been a part of my life. and not just being in the church, but I was taught to serve as a little girl. As a little girl, my parents taught me the importance of serving the pastor, serving the first lady, being involved in various aspects of ministry. So ministry has always been a part of my life. I cannot say that the love was always there because I didn't know it. I just did what I was trying to do. But my first recollection of really truly being in love with ministry was when we were at the, we first moved to Atlanta. We became members of the Mount Nebo Baptist Church and Life Center. Hey, Pastor, First Lady, yay!
Matter of fact, it's my pastor's birthday, Pastor A.J. McMichael of the Mount Nebo Baptist Church at the Life Center, Atlanta, Georgia.
Happy birthday, Pastor!
Oh, wow.
Yay!
Happy birthday.
So serving has always been a part of us. But my first recollection of really being in love with ministry, mainly being in love with people, the people that I was assigned to serve, the people I was assigned to help minister to, was at Mount Nebo Baptist Church. And that was 30 years ago. 30 years ago when I first started ministry. But it was the people. I was assigned to work with the young people. This was a young adult youth choir. Now I can't sing a lick. The G8RA choir, but it was the love of those young people that I enjoyed. That's where the love for ministry began.
Wow.
And I still love some of them now.
So Pastor, understanding that you went to school in a totally different field at TUBLU. Tell me this: when did you know that ministry or pastoring would be something that you would do for the rest of your life?
When I started pastoring.
The second church.
No, the rest of my life, you got to remember, as you said, I went to school for something totally different. I'm a chemistry major.
Correct.
Coming out of TUBLU and being a pastor's kid, man, I ain't want nothing to do with pastoring. I saw how folks treat pastors, and I didn't like that sort of treatment, and so I ran from it. And really, I knew I was called into ministry in 1979. But
he was running big time.
But I didn't accept my calling until 1988. I just didn't want to deal with it, man. And so I've seen the hurt that ministry will cause families, and so I didn't want that for my family.
Wow.
But
and
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And so that's the reason why it took me so long to work through the process of accepting that calling into ministry. And I went into ministry not even with the anticipation, like a lot of young preachers, of pastoring. I went in there because I wanted to serve and start working with my pastor, serving my pastor. Still to this day, serve him.
That's right.
Even though I am a pastor, but I have a pastor that I serve. It's strange, Antonio, that you bring that up, because me and him were just on the phone this past Thursday, making plans to go to the National Baptist Convention that'll be in Minneapolis this year. We travel together, and a lot of young people don't appreciate having a relationship or being submissive to a pastor, even though they are pastoring. And so we've had that relationship now for 30 years, and he's been there for me. I've been there for him. And so my thing is for our family, and the same vice versa. And I think that's where some of it is missed, is that a lot of people don't appreciate relationship of being under authority. Actually, that's more of it. They don't like being under authority. Some will say, well, you've been pastoring almost 28 years. I still have a pastor if he called. And my church knows this, that I respond, and that he say, well, I need you to do this. And I go because I believe in submitting to authority. And as you submit to authority, then you can expect those individuals that you pastor to submit to you, because you have modeled what you expect.
Right.
Wow. So First Lady, I understand. I know the relationship, so I know the backdrop. How does it feel being in ministry with your husband, but also being married to your best friend?
Oh, wow. Great question.
Am I your best friend?
Sometimes, all the time.
I love it.
Oh, there are pros and cons to being married to my best friend. Again, we live, eat, sleep, breathe ministry. Our entire life is serving God, serving God's people. So the joy and the pro of being married to my best friend is that we can share everything totally. I mean, there's nothing that we don't share, absolutely everything. And that's a great thing, because we share the joys and the sorrows, the good, the bad, everything in every aspect of life is shared, whether it be ministry, whether it be home, be children, being work-related things when we worked outside of the ministry, everything, you know, it's everything is treated and responded to the same way. Now, the negative or the con side of that is when I get mad at him, I ain't got nobody to talk to, so I have to eventually stop being mad and talk to him. And just tell him how I really feel about him.
Right.
And she will tell me how she feels about me. And, but one thing I love about it is that the respect that she shows, that even in her anger, she tried not to wear it ever to church.
Yeah. Only had one time that I slipped up.
Yeah, she did. That's probably about, what, 10, 12 years ago?
I don't know, long time.
And so she was mad at me. So you know what she did? She went to somebody else's church to hear another preacher. I told him, I'm going to send him your bills then.
But see, but you have to understand that too, because I wear my emotions on my face. And that, so had I walked into our church,
I love it,
feeling the way I was feeling, with that look on my face, everybody would have known something was going on. And that's one thing I'm very careful to do. I love this man, so I protect him. That's what I don't want. I can be mad at him. Can't nobody else be mad at him? Can't nobody else do anything to hurt him?
She's very protective.
I'm overly protective of my husband.
Right. My wife is the same way.
Best thing to do right then was, okay, can't nobody know I'm mad at you, because I can't hide it today. So I didn't go to church that day.
Yes.
I was still mad when
I love it.
home.
I
love it.
Preach when your wife is mad at you.
That's a sermon all by
you throw her a kiss and say, I love you, baby, forgive me, even if you do it from the pulpit.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question, Pastor. Now, being best friends in ministry, I know that it lightens the load tremendously, because I know that when I was down there in Atlanta, I understand that sometimes when you had to go out of town, you asked her to lead the prayer call, you asked her to lead Sunday school or Wednesday night Bible study. How does she lighten the load, not only just being your best friend because she's going to have your best interest at heart, but being a minister at the same time?
Well, that could be sort of tricky there, because sometimes I make last minute decisions.
Okay.
And in making last minute decisions, I may accept an engagement. Somebody called me at the last minute, and I might tell her a day before to say, prepare, because I'm going to be gone.
Right.
And
right.
That caused tension, but she know that this is what I teach all my associates. And see, she's my wife, but at the church, she's one of the associate ministers also. But then she try to switch hats on me sometimes, and then she want to become first lady. No, you're associate minister today, and do what your pastor tell you to do. And so we have fun. And I tell anybody, if you can't laugh, don't get in this, because this will kill you if you don't learn to laugh and to enjoy being with the person that you're with. And so it's a joy. And she take the assignment seriously. She's a great teacher, a great motivator. You've been around enough to know that if you down, she's gonna pick you up.
She's gonna lift you up.
Go lift you up. And so for that, I'm grateful, and that I have somebody that has my back at all times. And you need that in your corner when you're pastoring.
Definitely.
And so I tell people, after God, I trust her.
Yes.
Same thing here, yes.
So First Lady, when did you fall in love with preaching outside of ministry? Because it's a big difference. You can be in love with ministry and not be in love with preaching. So when did you, in fact, fall in love with preaching?
Wow, that's a great question. I'm still learning to fall in love with preaching. Because I love ministry. I love people.
Yes.
I love being used by God. So now that is the role that I serve, preaching and teaching. So I'm learning to love that preaching role. But what I love the results of it. I love how God utilizes that, how he utilizes me. Can't say I'm always in love with preaching, because sometimes I'm like, can I pass this hat? Because I'm still, a little nervous at times. But I'm in love with God using me. I'm in love with the results of God's word being shared. I'm in love with just how he just does what he does, and just allows me the opportunity to share his word. So I'm still learning to love preaching. So I think I love preaching. I just hadn't accepted it yet.
She loves preaching, Antonio. The thing is that what most people fail to realize is that as you prepare for the preaching moment, and I've been doing this 30 years, the nervousness is still there.
It's
and
still
I tell
there.
people that anytime that leave, you might need to stop because you are handling the word of God. And when you're handling the word of God, my thing is always, Lord, I want to do the best for you.
Yes.
And have I prepared well enough?
Right.
And even when you prepared the best, there's still that part of it and this is what preachers call, Lord, don't let me flunk.
Absolutely. I think that's my part there. I always want to please God. I always want to please this man here. I don't ever want to get up and share the word and not make both those individuals proud. And my pastor Michael too. It's important that I carry out the task. I teach, I preach the way they expect me to, the way God expects me to. So that's why I say I'm still learning to be a little bit preaching, because I want to make all those folks, those three people.
I love the
transparency.
transparency.
I tell you, when she announced her calling, so that I could stay married, I called my pastor, Pastor McMichael, and said, she have announced her calling. When do you want me to send over? So she went over to Mount Nebo to do all her training, all her sermon preparation, all her studying. Anybody come under Pastor McMichael know that he is a stickler. He's an old school preacher when it comes to that. And he took her through the task, and he's real proud of her. I'm proud of her, but he is super proud. Because he realized it's another product that God has allowed him to help mold. And for that, we are forever grateful.
And that was very important to me, because one of my little fear, I'll just be transparent here now, is
be transparent.
I didn't want people to say, oh, okay, there she got another first lady trying to be co-pastor. The husband is now licensing her. So it's very important to me that my father in the ministry worked with me, that I received his blessing, that I went through the training. I didn't mind going to double and triple what Pastor Moore takes the other associate ministers through. I actually wanted to be taken through more. It didn't matter how long it took, because I wanted to make sure that I had my pastor's blessing, and it was above and beyond.
Validated.
I wanted him to validate everything. It was above and beyond somebody trying to say, oh, da-da-da-da-da. It didn't matter. I knew what God had called me to do, but I wanted Daddy to validate it as well.
I love it. I love it. Now, looking at the history that you guys have together, I love the chemistry that you two have. I have to ask you the critical question. This is the last question for as our introduction goes. And we're going to get into the hard questions that the topic of the discussion. But the last question is, how do you both balance ministry life, your personal lives, and also personal lives while keeping a healthy relationship?
Do we do that?
Balance is out the question. There's no such thing as balance. I call it harmonizing.
Wow.
Yeah. Because balance, like a seesaw, you're up sometimes, you're down sometimes. Now, things aren't always balanced, because, again, we eat, sleep, live, breathe ministry. So that's what life is for us. Our marriage is about ministry. Every once in a while, I have to say, I don't want to talk to Pastor Moore. I want to talk to hubby Carr, but it's about harmonizing. And because we both are so committed to ministry, committed to the church we've been assigned to, committed to the people there, everything revolves around that. But we do have to stop. I do have to stop and remind him that, okay, I'm wifey today.
Well, we take time out.
I'm wifey,
We take time out, and that when we cut everything off,
have to.
Then we make sure we take vacations where we get away and nobody know where we are. And,
well, at first they don't. Usually find out after 3 days.
Find out after 3 days. But we just thank God for finally we're in a position that if we want to get away, we get away. And we have such a good staff there at the church, and you was part of that staff for a while. That I tell people I've done a poor job as a pastor, if I can't
Yes.
leave, and everything be in order when I get back. So we have balance
Yes.
that we get away. We stay gone until we get back. And we are good with that. In our church, we have a loving church.
Yes.
And they are good with that. And they know that their pastor and their first lady loves them. And so they allow us to be us. And, and that, I was telling my church today, Antonio, I say, y'all know your pastor crazy, right? And they all say, yeah, we know he's crazy. Amen. And you know, I had a birthday this year, and so now my filters are off. And so I might just say anything, man, and they just look and say, that's pastor.
Yes.
Amen.
Amen.
What comes up, come out, and I'm trying to be aware of it, but I say, Lord, you called me, so you're responsible.
Right.
But Antonio, if I can add,
yes.
Well, Pastor and I have been married 37 years, and where we are now in terms of the harmonizing and the taking time out to be husband and wife, to remind ourselves that there is courtship still. We haven't always been here. Earlier in the ministry, that was a tough one for us because again, a pastor for a while, pastor was in school, he was working, and he was being a pastor all at the same time. So there was a time where, I thought, are you married or not? Because again, that it was off balance there. So there was a while that we had to remind each other, wait, okay, yes, ministry is what we've been called to, but there's also, we've got to remember that we're married to each other, that we have to have time for each other, we have to make time for each other. We have to turn everything off for a while and just focus on each other. So spend time with the kids, spend time with each other, because that wasn't always the case. I used to have to kind of knock on the door and go, hello.
Because first I had to go to a place of knowing that I was not married to God's church.
There you go. That was the wife for a while.
And preachers, if I could advise any young preacher, remember that the church is God's bride, not yours.
Yes.
And sometimes you will start an adulterous affair with something that's not yours. And you'll spend more time with the church that is God's than you should be with your own wife. And it will be, it's dangerous for relationships. And the sad thing that even in ministry, the divorce rate is just as high as it is in the world, because sometimes we forget that. And so now it's a competition between your wife and the church, and your wife should always win out, because it's the first institution, even before the church comes along. God institution is considered to be marriage. He said that a man should leave from among his kindred and cleave to his own wife. And when God speaks of the church, he speaks of the church as being his bride, not ours. And he put us there as shepherds to watch over his bride. And so we got to be cognizant of that, that we don't give more to God's bride than we do to our own bride.
So it took a little bit of work in there. There was some tight times there, but once the reality, and then once the stress too, the stress of not trying to do all those things, not trying to work, be pastor, be in school. Once that load was lightened, things got better.
Yeah, a lot better, man. Because I was stressed. You got to remember, I'm in seminary. I'm working a full-time job, and I'm pastoring. They call it full-time pastor with part-time pay, but you know how that goes. So I tell young preachers all the time, do not look down upon humble beginning, because them some of the most loving people. And they did so much to grow me. What I tell people, I'm not much of a preacher now, but what I really couldn't preach, they endured until I became what God wanted me to be. And they loved me all the way through it, and they love my family.
Wow. And that's the big part of it. But let's do a transition real fast, because I'm gonna take a quick pause to do a little bit of marketing too right now. Everybody that's joining us now live, thank you so much for watching A Different Perspective. We're about to jump into the hard questions. If you're on Facebook, I'm Aosinspires. If you're on Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, Aosinspires. That's what I encourage you to do. Go to our YouTube page. Our team just revamped our YouTube page. We have great new videos, new content up there. I promise you won't be disappointed. Listen, this is a perfect time to share this video right now. We're about to dive into some topics that's going to be a blessing to your life that most people are scared to talk to. And we want to hear from you. We want you to dialogue with us. We want you to comment below. And we're about to get into the hard topics, the hard questions. And I believe it's going to be a blessing to your life. Share this video right now. You are connected to some people that we're not connected with. With that connection, together we can empower the world to never give up. All right. So listen, many people, Pastor Moore and First Lady, Reverend Angela, many people are affected differently, right? So there's, you may find a word offensive that I may not find offensive. So everybody is different when it comes to sensitivity. So let me ask you this quick question. What is your definition each of hurt? What is your definition to being hurt?
Ooh, I want Pastor to go first on that one. But well, I'll go first. Let me respond to that by saying this. I have a saying that words have meaning.
Yes.
And they mean, as you just stated, mean different things to different people.
Yes.
Words and actions affect us differently according to our backgrounds, our perspectives, our experiences. So it's very important that we remember that and understand that, so that when, quote, quote, someone is hurt by something that we may have done or said, or we're hurt by something someone's done and said, sometimes that hurt can be lightened by taking the time to get to understand each other's perspective. Taking the time to understand just what do they really mean. Because sometimes they'll think you're hurt by something and there was no intention of there being a hurt.
Yes.
It's just it's perspective from which you come. So it's important that people know and understand each other's perspective. For example, I cannot handle you doing this at me.
Yes.
You know, in certain cultures, living in Clarkston, for example, you know, certain cultures, they'll do that because they're just trying to explain. But me, I have a pet peeve with that. So I have to be, when that gets done, and I feel my little something rising up, I have to tell myself, remember perspective, they don't know that bothers you. They're not doing that to hurt you. They're not doing it to do anything negative. So you keep that horse down, girlfriend. You know, okay?
I love it. I love
that
it.
helps me, you know, in not becoming as easily hurt by things that were not intended to be hurtful. Pastor?
Yes.
Hurt. I think that was nothing but a feeling, and I think hurt is some deep unmet expectation you have of people.
That's good. That's good.
I love that.
And when they do not meet that expectation, I think hurt really start out with a disappointing feeling. And then we got to check our own baggage that we bring to the table, because some of us are operating out of place, as First Lady said, that others not even aware. And some hurts are intentional, especially when individuals set out purposely to destroy you or to tear you down. And so I tell our leadership team all the time, and the church members, I do not deal well with individuals that are not loyal. Loyalty is my number one pet peeve. Either you with me or you against me. Just let me know. I'm all right with either one, but don't tell me that you're with me and I discover that you're not with me. I don't do anything to get back at you. I just don't have anything to do with you. And so that's that hurt part, is disappointment in that expectation of an individual, be it something that they have done, be it something that they have said. But then when I'm hurt, and I think you bring this up, I have to find a place of forgiveness. So I don't, because hurt can lead to bitterness. And one thing I don't want to become is bitter, because bitter then lead to hate. And hate is a bad place to be, because then you got to deal with uncovering all those emotions and actually getting at the heart and the root of recovery. Because you can recover from hurt, but to recover from bitterness is pretty difficult.
Wow. So what does forgiveness look like to you? What does forgiveness look like to you?
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Forgiveness. Let's get this straight. Can I
Yes.
give some definitions?
There you go.
Yes, please.
Forgiveness meaning that, okay, I forgive you, meaning that I have let that go.
Yes.
But we misdefine forgiveness in the church because
Yes.
when we say I forgive, that means that I trust.
Yes.
Forgiveness
No.
and
Wow.
trust are two different things.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
forgive you, but I still don't trust you because trust is earned. It's
Yes.
and so because I forgive you don't mean that you have earned my trust again. People talk about, but I thought you were the preacher. I've already forgiven you. I moved on, but I don't trust you because you have not earned my trust. And that's what a lot of couples fail to realize, that when there's a problem in the relationship, even when forgiveness has been stated, trust is something earned. And to be honest, there's nowhere in scripture that say I have to ever trust you again.
Wow. I love it. I love it.
I think I'll also add a little bit about the forgiveness. To me, forgiveness is getting to a point of accepting whatever may have transpired and being okay with that particular action there, and literally saying, okay, I have some sense of understanding of what may have transpired, and then being at a place of acceptance, but not necessarily forgetting and trusting. Because I can forgive you that whatever something may have happened, okay, that you may not have meant that, or even you may have meant it. I will forgive you. That's what the Word of God tells us. But I ain't gonna trust you no more with that same situation. Or our whole relationship may even change as a result of some action that's taken place, that where trust was broken, or there's a sense of loyalty that you once understood to be present and that's no longer there. I can forgive you, but our relationship doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the same. As a matter of fact, in most cases, it won't be the same. Even in a married couple relationship.
Even in a married couple relationship, when hurt comes, the relationship suffers.
Yes. So you have to work.
You have to work at recovery.
That. Yes.
Recovery does not come without work.
Absolutely.
Trust does not come without work. And whoever is the offender have to be the one to reestablish or do whatever the offended asks.
Yes. Because that's how we build that trust and build that loyalty up. Because if Pastor Moore does something that I say, baby, that hurt me. Now, if that really, when you did that, when you said that hurt me at the core. And we've been there. We've had some of those situations. Then it's important that he understands that level of hurt. He understands what took place that hurt me. And then he works toward not doing that again, because my hurt may still be there for a while until I clearly see that, okay, he understood. He understands. So he's not taking those steps anymore. He's doing things to make sure he does not do the same thing again. That helps to build my trust up again. And once I see that, well, okay, he didn't do it intentional. He's working to make sure that he does not hurt again. Then we get to a new level there, and then things can be much better.
And let me tell you, Antonio, I didn't understand that in the beginning of marriage. Because I'm who I am, man, and
right.
I had to teach him a few things.
Either she understands.
My wife teaches me a lot too.
Antonio, either she understands me or she don't. Because men are truly from Mars and women from Venus. Because you be talking about that hurt me. I'm up here. I didn't hit you. And I'm realizing she's talking about feelings and emotions. And then I didn't touch the emotional part of it, but I was cold and callous and do the things that, remember I told you, hurt is unmet expectations.
Yes.
I was not doing the things that she expected of me to do as a husband.
Especially after I done told you what I needed to do. Hello.
Man, after I paid the bills, I tell you, all expectations.
No.
It should be no hurt.
It's more than that.
I'm having fun because there might have been somebody out here that took that serious. Amen. But
that's him in his 60 years of age talking.
in the early years of marriage, I thought that's what a husband was, just to support, to be there. But it's more of touching the emotions and the heart of the person. And I think that's where that hurt come from, because lately you've had a lot of feeds about church hurt, amen, and church hurt me, and all it was unmet expectation. They have
I love it. Somebody type that in below right now. Somebody type that in below. Unmet expectations. I love it.
Because people have an expectation of the church that they don't have of any other institution.
Wow.
And because of that, they come in there with some preconceived notion of what the church should do, how they should do it, when they should do it, when they really hadn't even connected with the church. And people don't realize the church is the people. So you have to connect with the people then be able to vocalize what you're expecting. And the church that you have connected with might not be able to meet your expectation.
Absolutely.
And so and you got to understand the capacity of that particular ministry. Sometimes people come up to me and ask all the time, do y'all do this? Why y'all don't do that? We don't have the capacity.
It may not be our assignment.
And that might not be my pastoral or pastoral assignment. Oftentimes, sometimes I think ministers try to do everything and end up doing none of them well. Understand the area that God has called you into, and be okay with that. I can't look at what you're doing and say, well, I want to do the same thing, because that might not be my assignment. I don't have the personality to carry it. So sometimes people become disappointed because of those expectations that they have. And folks tell you, when I was growing up, my pastor did this. Well, you need to go back to your home church where they do that, baby. Amen. And I don't mean to be rude or mean, but I'm going to tell my members will tell you, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do, what I'm not going to do. And either you like it or you don't like it.
Or you don't.
I love for everybody to come and stay at Clarkston, but if they don't, my desire is for them to be at the church that they desire to be, that meets their expectations.
Yes. And let me put just a pin here, since we're talking about emotions. And I believe that this is the big elephant in the room. A lot of people battle with this. And I know whether they're saved, whether they're not saved, whether you're a preacher, not preacher, pastor, not pastor. I believe everybody in the world battles with this. How do you treat people right? Even when you're still experiencing pain from their actions still affect you emotionally. How do you treat people right when your emotions is still tied up in the action that they did?
First of all, you make sure that you are aware of your emotions.
Okay.
You don't hide or sugarcoat anything.
Yes.
If you've got an issue, you're still having an issue with something that's taking place with someone at the church or someone that you were close to, all, you got to, awareness is half the battle. Being aware, being real, being true to yourself, being aware of your values. That's something I had to learn. Values are so important, because they actually help motivate us. So if there's a hurt, you've got to first be aware that I'm still affected by this. I have forgiven the person. I've forgiven you, but I'm still affected. So once you realize that, then you simply start by practicing common courtesy. You don't have to be in love with somebody to just have common courtesy. You start there. Hello, goodbye. It's still just plain old etiquette. You start there is my response to that question.
I love it.
My response is that at some time we're going to have a come to Jesus meeting. We just go have to sit down and what I've discovered a lot in ministry, that people won't take ownership. That even if I tell you that you hurt me and you say, well, I didn't hurt you. Well, I've done my share. The Lord say, go to them. So I go to them to share with them and tell them the action that was hurting. Now, they may not take ownership of it, but I'm good from that point on. Then I still have a responsibility to serve them if they still part of that congregation. I'm not going to treat them any different because they hurt me. I just know not to expect anything from them other than what they have presented. Once you show me who you are, I believe you. And I take you at that. And so now no longer do I have any expectations of you. So I have removed your ability to hurt me.
That's good. That's good. That's good, Pastor.
Wow.
That's good.
Wow.
Good.
And let's look at it from this perspective. As a pastor, as a leader, as one that's in authority, how can you effectively help people who've hurt you?
Forgiveness.
Okay.
Forgiveness, and remember what we were called to do. Ministry
Yes. Oh, wow.
is about
Wow.
loving people.
Right,
Nowhere does God say that you have to, as you minister, that you're not to love. If you're in ministry and you don't like folks, you don't love people, there's going to be a problem. So even when hurt is taking place, as a leader, as a pastor, as a first lady, I have to step above that normal, everyday person, because we've been called to minister to people. We've been called to serve people. So how do we minister to someone who's hurt you? You remember what God called you to do, and you do it with His help, Pastor.
Wow.
And I'm big on building up individuals. If they let you. See, everybody will let them up, and so we feed it to those who allow us to feed it to them. And so in that forgiveness is that, how can I help you to become a better person as I grow and become a better person? And then I have discovered, Reverend Scott, that the Lord allowed me to go through some things to make me better.
Yes.
Because I need to be equipped for the next level. People always talk about, I'm ready for the next level. You don't go to the next level until you have a few battle scars. Because levels are earned. You don't get promotion without going through the battle. And so the Lord take you through some things to see, are you ready? And as He takes you through each one of them, it ready you for the next level. As the old preacher say, don't wear your feelings on your coat sleeve. Don't do that. And so if you don't do that, then you are able to move forward to do what God has called you to do. And remember that He called us to love the sheep. And to feed the sheep. And after we've done that, that's our obligation. See, some people misunderstand the responsibility of the church to the flock, to the individual. Our first responsibility is to get souls saved. We're winning souls for the kingdom. That's our number one objective. You know, we all the other things, the byproducts of it, that we have clothes, pantry, we have food, banks. We do back to school, we do trunk or treat, we do all these other stuff. That's not what the church real responsibility is. We are to evangelize the world and call individuals to get to know Jesus Christ as their personal Lord and Savior. Now we do those other things and we call it ministry, but at the end of the day, we could do those things and you not be saved and bust hell wide open. I want to be on record for saying hell is real. Amen. And if you don't know Jesus Christ as your personal Lord and Savior, that will be your eternal resting place. I'm on record.
Yes. And we have to be on record. But let me twist this thing a little bit, because oftentimes you ask people, how do you handle hurt or how do you handle pain? And most people, when they're being recorded or they're on TV or they're in front of people, they give the churchy answer. But First Lady, give me a transparent answer. I want a transparent answer. How do you deal with the pain that your husband is experiencing? How do you deal with it when you see him hurting?
I'm ready to go beat somebody up.
I love it.
And if the Holy Spirit don't hold me back, I might just go do that, depending on what it is. As I said earlier, I love this man dearly. I'm his bigger protector. I cannot stand to see my husband hurt. As a matter of fact, I had to stop going to church business meetings for a while. Yes, I had to, because I would get in. Somebody be saying something, doing something, and it's going to be like an attack on my husband. Oh, no. This girl couldn't sit still. So I had to stop going, so I couldn't see who said what. So I wouldn't be looking at them cross-eyed the next time I saw them. Just be real. So I had to learn to go, okay, just pull back from that. You don't need to be involved and see everything. To be praying for him, praying that God protects him. God's got him. He's God's boy. He's still my
That's
husband,
it.
and I will fight the battle for him, big time. Other
I
things you
love
do,
it.
you come home and you yell like crazy, and you bless them out
Yes.
in the Holy Spirit.
Yes. Yes.
Things you can't say to them in
I love
person,
it.
you come home and
I
you
love
just
it.
share it with your best friend. Go, they said what?
Yes.
They did what? No, I just be real. You just let it all out at
I
home,
love it.
and then pray
Yes.
and say, "Okay, God, help me. When I see the person,
Right.
please let me smile. Okay,
Get up and
let it be a
get
genuine
up
Yes.
to a
smile.
brand
Yeah,
new day.
yes, indeed. And if I
Brand new
don't feel,
day.
I have actually in a couple of cases when that smile wasn't coming, I saw that person from a
Right.
distance, and I had a little something,
Right.
feeling there. I had to turn around and go the other way
Right.
just to avoid
Right.
even
Right.
running in contact. Because
Right.
I know
Right.
I was a little
Right.
hot on the collar, so I had to turn
Right.
around.
And
I was
most
like,
people don't want to be transparent to that perspective to say, listen, I'm saved, I'm anointed, but don't push me.
don't,
And,
hello,
we have to be truthful.
and
We
don't
have to be truthful
don't
because
go
if we're
after
not
my
truthful,
husband. Don't go
yes,
out and hurt this man. No. This sister don't
yes,
play that.
yes.
No. As
No,
best
that's right.
sometimes
I love
says,
it.
I I can be like a what you call me? Something like I can be like a
Pit
bee. I can be
bulldog.
like a pit dog at times. No, it's like I can go after you. No, in the love
Yes, I
with the
love
love
it.
of God though. But
Yes, yes.
don't intentionally hurt my husband, because this
Right,
sister don't like that at all. And you have to pray about
right,
that
right,
when that
right.
if that comes up, when that comes up. Yes. Yeah,
Yes,
but I'll come home
yes, yes. I
and
love it.
say some things.
Right. Yeah, she's very protective. Uh, and I tell
Yes,
people all the time that's the one thing that's off limits is my wife and my children. Uh,
yes.
you could talk about me, push me. I'm good. Just don't miss because I got a son-in-law.
Son in
Uh,
love, son in
my
love.
wife said
Right.
son in love. Amen. I hadn't got to son in love, but I'm getting there.
He's
Amen.
son in love. He's our son.
But don't mess with my family. I'm good. Other than that,
Yes,
amen. We could go at
yes,
it, but don't because what they do in ministry and for the kingdom uh,
yes,
is all to enhance. And don't ever put an
yes,
expectation of them that you don't put on other members. Put it on me. I'm the
yes,
pastor,
yes.
but on them,
Right,
don't mess with my
right,
family, man. I'm
right,
not gonna fight
right,
you. I'm not gonna do anything. But if you mess with my
right.
wife and my children, I'm not gonna fight you still, but I will shoot you. And I'm on record for saying that.
He got to find the gun first.
So let me ask a quick question. Just dive a little bit deeper. Because oftentimes I understand this as a leader, our feelings are involved in certain aspects of preaching, in certain aspects of leadership, and even certain aspects of how we treat people. It's just natural. It just comes natural. Let me ask you a quick question. As a leader, knowing that this person has hurt you, that you helped, can you distance yourself from this person who's helped you, knowing that you're the leader?
Personally, sometimes you have to. Again, going back
Okay.
to your values,
Love it.
you have to be true to your values. So if you
Love it.
know and understand that loyalty, for example, um, um, being trustworthy and loyalty, those are values that are key and important to you. If
Yes.
someone breaks that trust, someone is you learn they're not loyal to you, that relationship is not the same. I don't know
Yes.
that
Yeah.
it can be the same. So you can
That's
still
true.
minister to individual, be in that company, but the relationship be different. And
Yes.
that's just part of the human nature part of us. Because I'm not going. There's no way I haven't learned. I do this yet. I haven't learned
Right.
to have the same type of relationship with someone who has broken my trust, someone
Wow.
who has been disloyal to me, because those two values are important to me.
Our
So
core
whatever you are
values.
core values. So whatever that core value is, that's what's going to motivate you and to move to do whatever you do. So
Wow.
there's nothing wrong with that relationship being different. You just can't be mean and ugly
Yes.
to one another.
Yes.
That
Right.
distance may come. I have actually
Right.
lost. I used to call them friendships, but now I
Right.
don't. I see them now as they weren't friendships; they were relationships, and
Yes.
they were developing relationships. And
Right.
I remember the first time that happened to me, I cried because I was like, "What happened?" I
Wow.
thought we were close. I thought that we
Right.
were working together, and we had developed a friendship. I learned that it wasn't a friendship.
Right.
We were on two different pages.
Wow.
Expectations were different. We were at different places,
Wow.
and that came to
Unmet
a halt.
expectations.
Period. And that's
Wow.
okay, but it was quite hard that first time. I've had it happen several times, as a matter of fact, and I've
Wow.
learned to keep the distance, and be okay with it, and move right on.
Wow.
That's why he's my best friend.
I see that somebody responded, Reverend Scott, be angry,
Yes.
but sin not.
Sin not.
Amen. I received that, but don't hurt my baby.
Listen, we have two more questions and we're going to be out of here. We're way over time, but we just have two more questions. The question I want to ask you is, how can you protect yourself from not being hurt? How can you protect yourself from not being hurt? Because you can protect yourself from a lot of stuff. I can protect myself from this.
I don't feel that you can. That's me personally.
Okay.
I said you can't protect yourself from hurt because it's part of the growth process. You have to be void of feelings not to get hurt at some point.
Wow.
I don't care. My wife hurt me at some points.
Yes.
I hurt her at some points. It's not that I don't love her, not that she don't love me, but sometimes what we are expected is not met. So we are hurt. So the only way people tell me, I've been married for 50 years and me and my wife has never had a crossword in 50 years. And I tell them somebody wasn't at the house.
They were asleep.
Because if you're in a relationship with someone, hurt is going to happen.
Yeah.
Whether it be your children, whether it be your spouse, whether it be your church member, whether it be your pastor, it's going to occur. The thing is, that's where the Lord reminds us to forgive and to be able to move forward, because it's a forgiveness that starts the healing process from the hurt. So it doesn't turn into bitterness. So you're not going to be void of hurt. So if you go into a church expecting that they're not going to hurt me, you're going to be highly disappointed.
Wow. And then also, I think it's important to go back to your expectation too. If you walk around in a sense with a sense of expectation of that I'm gonna get hurt, then everything comes at you as being hurt.
You get what you look for.
You get what you look for. I specifically recall there were times in ministry where somebody could be standing right behind me, blessing me out to someone else. And God had a way of just protecting me. I've had people say, you didn't hear her say that? I'm like, say what? God just protected me from hearing or experiencing that. Because if you walk around in excess of expectation that somebody's going to hurt you, you're going to get that. So I walk around expecting things will be okay. Even if something doesn't come out to be okay, I don't walk around expecting to hurt, looking for it. So when it comes, deal with it, acknowledge it, where does it have to battle, and go, okay, God, what you want me to do with this now? How am I supposed to handle this? And let him talk to me, and then get over it and move on. Again, most of the times there is a distance that may form there, but that's okay.
But remember, trust is built and earned. And so it don't come back immediately. And I know oftentimes preachers say, well, how do you go and preach? If you preach Jesus,
that's it,
and not your emotions, you'll be all right.
You can't preach your emotions.
You're tapping into my last question.
And a lot of times, especially people like to preach topical sermons, whereas they're talking about a particular subject matter. Let the scripture preach itself, and you can keep yourself out of it.
Yes.
So, and you're tapping on this is the last question of the night. Then after this last question, I'm gonna ask you to give some encouraging words to some pastor that has experienced hurt. And First Lady, I want you to give from a First Lady perspective of dealing with hurt from people that you've helped. But the last question I had asked is, as a leader holding a grudge, will it affect your preaching?
It will. So let's read out either hold a grudge.
Love it.
Because if you hold on to a grudge, and I've seen this, it's time for you for somebody to move. Because it sort of dictates the aspect of which you operate from, and then people that hold grudges always in the frame of, I'm gonna get you back, and so you be plotting and planning how you'll get somebody back. Let that go. If it's something that you feel like you can't recover from, it might be a season where God said your time is up.
Wow.
You got to shake the dust off your feet and move on, and don't be so beholden to the fact that I like the title pastor that you're not able to move on.
Wow.
To me, if there's a grudge, if you're holding on to a grudge, you haven't forgiven.
Yes.
And that's that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
You can't honestly forgive and have a grudge.
Right. Have a grudge at the same
won't
time.
Happen.
Let it go.
It won't.
Love
Yeah,
it.
it won't happen.
Learn to let it go.
Yeah.
And some things
I believe that we have.
Reverend Scott, you just got to preach your way through.
Pray your way
through. Pray. You got to pray before you preach. If you preaching and not praying, you got some order that you got to you got to get in order. Amen. And so when it comes to that preaching moment, prayerfully you have done your study, you prayed up, and you're ready to preach your way through it, and that know that God will keep you in that moment.
Yes.
Wow. And you still got to lead folks that you're angry with and that you're upset with
to Christ
through Christ,
that's
because that's your assignment.
That's right.
Yes, you're gonna be true to your assignment.
Still got the love.
Remember when Moses got angry, he came back down
the
mountain, and he broke the tablets. He still had to go back up the mountain, get a new set, and come back down, and then minister to the same folks.
Yes.
Yes, I love it.
So they're still God's people. You just gotta love them, pray for them, and love them and pray for them, and love them and pray for them.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. As we close real fast, with a brief statement, Pastor, how can you encourage some pastor out there that has been dealing with hurt from people, not only that they help, but people that they have poured into financially, spiritually, and also physically? What kind of encouraging words would you leave for them?
First Lady, give me my money back.
Oh, no. Pastor's not. He has that's where he is right now. Okay, guys. My word to anyone, not only any first lady there though, it's be yourself. So one of the things I don't like to hear, and I've heard it for quite a bit though. People say, "Well, you so different. You this, you that, and that." I was first saying like this. Everybody was created to be themselves.
Yes.
You can only be the person God created you to be. So don't deal with. Everybody's got expectations for you in your congregation. Just make sure you and your husband are on one accord, and you be who you desire, God created you to be. You can't be no other first lady. You can't do nothing like no other first lady. You got to do things the way God called you to do it, and do it what God called you to do. You may be the first lady who sit there and wear a hat. You may and don't say a single word. You may be the first lady who lead praise and worship. You may be the one on the piano. You may be the one who's preaching. Whatever it is that God has called you to do, you do that. Be proud of that. Make sure you're in line with your husband. That's all that matters. That's all.
Shakespeare said something so interesting. He said, "To thy own self,
be true."
Be true. I love it.
What other phrase you have from Shakespeare?
That's the only phrase I can think about right now. You called me on the spot.
Y'all young preachers, y'all get me, man. Y'all be profound. You know, Shakespeare say, you know, the great theologian.
Encourage somebody. Encourage me past time.
Yeah, I'm encouraging you right now. If you're not laughing, then you're not encouraged. Laughter is good for the soul. Who said that?
Yes, it is.
I forgot who said it, but it's good. It's good. Laughter is good for the soul. And so if you don't learn how to laugh in the ministry and be about the ministry, have a good time with it. This thing is so short. I don't care how long you're in it, it's short. Enjoy the journey that God has set you on, and be the best you can be. Treat folks right. And even if they don't treat you right, treat them right. And be encouraged that no matter what battle you're going through, that in the end, God said He's working it in your favor, for your good. And remember that you shall win. I preach today, Reverend Scott. Amen. Placing your hope in God, meaning that David, no matter what he went through, he said at the end of the day, I wait patiently and quietly on God. Because everything that I'm going through is in God's hands, and nothing happened to me except God allows it. And so we got to believe that, trust that hey, I'm God's preacher. What do you want me this season? If this where you
Yes.
want me, I'm here till you say it's over. And if you trust
Yes.
God, we preach about it. But I've discovered that a lot of preachers don't believe what they preach.
All right.
And they don't have
Wow.
faith in God. So we just got to trust
Wow.
God where we are and stop comparing.
That's it.
If I
Yes.
could tell
Yes.
any pastor, any first lady, stop comparing your ministry to somebody else's ministry,
Yes.
and just do and be true to what
Do
God has
you.
called you to.
Yes.
To work
Yes.
in your faith.
My best friend Victor Winfrey just commented, "Do you?" I love
That's
it.
it, Victor.
Yeah,
Do
Vic,
you. Do you.
that's all Victor can do, man. I was talking to him. We were having Bible study, man, and you know we laugh all the time, Antonio.
Yes.
I said, Victor,
Yes.
it would sure be good if Reverend Scott was here. We would be here the next 30 minutes on that one, man. We laughed for about 20 minutes, man, and then you came up in the middle of the conversation, so we lasted another 15 minutes.
Always a good time. Always a good time. Listen, I want to say thank you to both of you, Pastor Moore, First Lady Reverend Angela Moore. Thank you so much for being my very special guest on A Different Perspective. When the TV show come out, I Inspire, I definitely will have you as a guest. But thank you so much to all of the viewers. Thank you so much for joining in live to A Different Perspective. We hope and our prayers that something was said tonight that was a blessing to your life, that you can carry on with the rest of your week, the rest of your month, the rest of your year, more importantly, the rest of your life. I thank you so much for watching A Different Perspective. And as we close, at the end of every AOS Inspires video, listen, this is what I want to tell you. Type in below right now, I'm amazing. I am amazing. And the reason, Pastor Moore and First Lady, the reason I have them type in I'm amazing is because the enemy is trying to attack your value. The enemy is trying to attack your self-esteem. So once I begin to speak the fact that I'm amazing, and then I begin to believe the fact that I'm amazing, it's only then that I will begin to protect the fact that I am super amazing. Listen, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Share this video right now. First Lady, Pastor Moore, thank you so much for being our special guest on A Different Perspective. I love you too.
Thank you so much, Reverend
Thank you
Scott.
for inviting me. We want to encourage you. Keep up the good work.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Better together.
I love it. Better together. I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
Be blessed, man.
Grace and peace.
Bye-bye.